Hi, my name is Mirna. I'm from MBA ITB. I'm from Executive 46 batch and I'm from Syndicate 5. I'm going to tell you about Singapore.
Hi, my name is Chandra. I am from MBA ITB from Syndicate 5. I would like to tell you about the Singapore in the future.
Everyone, my name is Albert Joshua from MBA ITB Bandung, executive class, and I would like to tell you about Singapore's economy.
Chapter 1.
The origin of Singapore. Singapore came from a Sanskrit word Singapura, which means lion city. At first, these Stamford travelers arrived in Singapore on 1819. And then the British came to Singapore for their invasion, and they also make some development in Singapore. Therefore, Singapore became an important port for export and import.
Chapter 2.
The end of British rule. When the British rule comes to an end, the first election was held in 1948. As a result, Kuan became the first Prime Minister in Singapore with the absolute winning. During his period, Singapore and Malaya signed an agreement, but unfortunately, this agreement has to come at the end.
Chapter 3.
Creating the independence of Singapore. In this period of time, it was the most important stage for Singapore because Singapore started to celebrate their independence day for the first time in 1965. And Singapore started to build the country in diversifying language, population, orderliness, government role, politics, job creation and housing, economy strategy, ban antagonistic union, and government-linked companies. Therefore, Singapore was growing.
Chapter 4.
Becoming Asian tiger. In this stage, Singapore faced both hard and good times as well. The good times can be shown by the impressive GDP growth rate that reached the highest rank in the world. Meanwhile, the international oil shock brought the Singapore into their hard times. As the response from the government, they started to initiate an increase in the large wage.
Chapter 5.
Recession and reform. In 1985, a deep recession was happened and led to a sharp rise in unemployment, weak external demand, low profits, and much reduced investment in manufacturing. Most of the party believed that the recession was caused by the depress of international markets for oil, but a high-level economic committee put the blame on the over-ambitious large wage policy. However, the Singapore can overcome this recession, and moreover, he can develop more. Furthermore, Singapore tension between Indonesia and Malaysia has reached to an end with the announcement of establishment of the Growth Triangle. In November 1990, Goh Chok Tong was elected as the second Prime Minister in Singapore.
Chapter 6.
Singapore maturing from 1991 to 2008. In early 1991, Goh's new government issued a long-range plan called the NECLAP. The plan plotted a long-run social and economic goals. However, there are another recession happened in 1991, and the Singapore economy worsened in the next following years. To overcome this recession, the Singaporean government implemented a number of policy initiatives, including following up on the vision set out by the NECLAP. The government also made some initiatives by improving the condition of local companies, foster the education from the thinking school and learning nation, and the last one is developed the research centers and advanced training programs. Dealing with the external shock from 1997 to 2003. The Asian financial crisis in 1997 until 1998 was the first of a number of severe external shocks that hit the Singaporean economy. This financial crisis led to a flood of foreign capital flows into Asia. To overcome this crisis, Singapore created the Committee on the Singapore's Competitiveness in 1997 to review and develop a path for Singapore's future development. It recommended that Singapore to reduce its business costs, maintain investor confidence, and continue to build up the people capabilities to ride out the economic storm. However, during this phase, there are many events, such as WTC tragedy that may happen to Singapore as a target for attack, and also in 2003, which is the spread of a deadly SARS virus worldwide took a heavy toll on the tourism business. The Economic Review Committee. While the Singaporean government had initially viewed that the external shocks as a temporary cyclical problem, in December 2001, Singapore created the Economy Review Committee. The committee gives some recommendations for the short-term adjustment for economy in Singapore, such as to cut the employer's contribution, make a wide-ranging, expanding economic ties, sign a free trade agreement, government-linked companies, more active investor abroad, more agency for workforce, more development in science policy, turns Singapore into a vibrant global city for information and arts, and also transform Marina Bay as an exciting environment for business, tourists, and residents. In August 2004, Goh stepped down in order to transfer the power to the Deputy Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, that he become the next Prime Minister of Singapore.
Chapter 7.
Singapore in 2008. In 2008, Singapore has developed in many sectors, such as prosperity, working-age people, labor productivity, Singapore's trade, foreign investment. Singapore had the world's best environment in conducting business, good grades in education, good rank in R&D, and a good local competition in Singapore. Singaporean cluster. The Singaporean economy consisted of a portfolio of clusters that had evolved over time. Traditional strengths were in the areas like petrochemicals, transportation and logistics, finance, and information technology. But there were also efforts to develop new clusters like tourism, education, and biopharmaceutical. What's next? Singapore has developed in many ways since the beginning until 2008. But in 2009, there was a question appear, which is how to support sustainable future growth for Singapore.
And then, this is our recommendation.
3 goal recommendation for Economic Strategies Committee. 1. High skilled people. Singapore must make skill, innovation, and productivity as the basis for sustaining Singapore economic growth. 2. Innovative economy. Provide for inclusive growth with a broad-based increase in the income of Singapore citizens. 3. Distinctive global city. Singapore must also be a vibrant and distinctive global city, often and diverse, the best place to grow and reach out to a rising Asia, and a home that provides an outstanding quality of life for Singapore people.
3 priorities for Economic Strategies Committee for the next decade. 1. Boost skills in every job. Must undertake a comprehensive national effort to boost productivity involving a partnership of enterprise, people, unions, and government. 2. Deepen corporate capabilities to seize opportunities in Asia. Singapore must grow a diverse and resilient ecosystem of companies, including a stronger base of local companies with the potential to be leaders in Asia. 3. Make Singapore a distinctive global city and an enduring home. Derive commercial value from research and development. Develop the financing capabilities to take advantage of the opportunities in Asia, and develop stronger alliance between large and small players to promote technology transfer, test bedding, and commercialization. 7 key strategies for Singapore in the future. 1. Growing through skills and innovation. 2. Anchor Singapore as a global Asia hub. 3. Build a vibrant and diverse corporate ecosystem. 4. Make innovation pervasive and strengthen commercialization of research and development. 5. Become a smart energy economy. 6. Enhance land productivity to secure future growth. 7. Build a distinctive global city and an enduring home.
Thank you for watching us.
Hopefully this video will be useful for you all.
Thank you.
Bye.